What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to KvltDeFi. This is the channel where we bring you the latest and greatest in innovations in tech in decentralized finance, and we showcase teams and protocols that really, are the tip of the spear in DeFi. What a week has been! It's been a fucking great week. Excuse me, pardon my French, but you're going to hear a lot of that from now on, as long as these numbers keep doing what they're doing. Because I am extremely happy, I am extremely bullish, and you guys know. Even when we were down in the dumps and all the markets were down and everyone was bitching at each other over on X and in Telegrams and all the rest of it, I stayed bullish all the way through because it was just a waiting game, right? It's a waiting game. And I think, touch wood and all the rest of it, but I think we're starting to see some real big moves, I have a guest on with me today, a buddy of mine from Canada. It is Brandon from the Brandon B Show. Everyone, if you are here because you're watching my channel, make sure you subscribe to him. If you're here because you're watching him, make sure you subscribe to me, right? It all goes around, right? We're in this together. We really are in this together. So here we go. How are you doing, Brandon, man?
Hey, man, how are you? It's been a minute. How you been?
Yeah, well, like I said in the intro there, I'm really good. Now
Yeah.
I'm really good. I can start to see. I mean, I don't want to say hope, right? Because I always kind of had it. It was just waiting it out. It was just waiting it out, right? And I think things are starting to finally turn. It's been a really good week. I mean, the Pulsechain conference with Oris Max was last week. I was on there on the panel. There was a lot of cool speakers on there. Obviously, Richie Daddy put his video up, right? Put his video out, and that started to make some moves. I see there was a post today. Ethereum put a post up like the biggest Ethereum holders, and Richard commented straight away. He's like, "Hey, I think you're missing someone there."
Yeah, it's funny.
and effectively, it will put us at number 2, right?
Yeah. We have one of the largest Ethereum, what do they call it? Reserves. Yeah. Out there. I think, what is it? 166. I think it was originally 171K, but Richard someone did some moves, and it's like 166K now, something like that. So it's it's interesting that's getting some notoriety. How was the conference? By the way, I didn't catch.
Conference was great. Went on over 2 days, over 40 speakers.
Nice.
It was, and one thing which I really liked about it, right, is that it wasn't. It was Pulsechain centric. I mean, I will say that because it was obviously a Pulsechain conference, but there was a lot of talk still about Hex. You know, a lot of the old guys. Hex Fire was on there. What the Hex boys, DJ Cryptomatic, they were on there talking about Hex, and Abdul was on there talking about Ink. Brissology did his own little 15 minutes on Ink and why he's so bullish on Ink. Nice. And then there was a bunch of panels, people just talking about exactly the kind of thing that we talk about, where we are, where we're going, and how we're going to get there fast as we can. Really, it was really cool. I really enjoyed it.
Right on, man. That's awesome. It's good to see that. We seem to be on the verge of actually maybe even doing something, right? On our chain here, and it's really good news, man. Like everyone, or at least many of you probably know, we're seeing some green candles finally. But it's more so than just green candles, in my opinion. Like for the first time in a very long time, years, I would argue, Pulsechain's fundamentals, like put short-term price action, anything short-term aside, our fundamentals have actually improved. Finally, for the first time in a long time, our founder Richard Hart has now, very clearly signaled and showed his, willingness to be more active again, and that's a very, very big deal. That's not superficial. That's not superfluous. It's not some other S word. It's very, very important. It speaks to the fundamentals. Guys, like I've been in the Pulsechain ecosystem for years. And so I know the internal dynamics. I know the arguments. I know all this. I'm not some newcomer. I get frustrated when people just say, bottom of the barrel cope at me, because I'm like, but guys, like, this is not for me. This is for other people. Like, Richard being back is incredibly significant, because now we don't have the appearance of abandonment, where before we did. Before it looked like Buddy just raised billions and then just bounced when the going got tough. We all understood that there was, very good reasons for why Richard was gone. But now that he's back, now that he's definitively beat the SEC and he signaled his willingness, that's actually a real solid improvement,
Mm-hmm.
fundamentals. We haven't really seen that in years, arguably, right? And now we're starting to see price reflect it. Now we're starting to see even price structure start to look real positive. I mean, I tweeted out just earlier today that for the first time in almost 6 months, Pulsechain has officially finally formed an uptrend on a macro scale. We finally have definitive higher highs and higher lows on a higher time frame. Not just some short-term movement. We've finally shown, definitively what you want to see to break a downtrend and form an uptrend. We're seeing it. We're seeing improvement in fundamentals. We're seeing the price structure follow along, and we're seeing the macro start to do better too. I mean, even outside of crypto, man, just like the normie stock world, doing a bit better. Trump's seems to be, having talks with China. That's, cooling off the market, right? Markets don't like fear, uncertainty, and doubt. So market's reacting well. Bitcoin's reacting well. Ethereum's reacting well. We're reacting well along with it. So, it seems like kind of the stars are aligning a bit here. You know what I mean, man? So,
oh my God.
it's great.
Touch wood, touch whatever you have to do to keep this trend going, right? One of the things I have to bring this up. This is how excited I am, right? I have to show the people this. It's absolutely insane. That one. Is it here?
What are we looking at here?
I'll show you as soon as it pops up.
Sure.
Which video am I looking at? That one? This one? This one. Look at that. Look at all those numbers.
What is this? That's a weekly.
This is literally the last week. Yeah.
Man, that's great to see.
Yeah, isn't that fantastic? Look at that.
Yeah, hopefully
I'm over the moon with that, right? Long may it continue. There's a few people that I watch from outside of the Pulsechain ecosystem. Jesse Eccles is one, and basically everything that he's been talking about for the last, I don't know, maybe the last six sort of months. He's a guy, right? He made a hell of a lot of money in the last cycle. Even for this cycle, literally like a month ago, he sold his house, and he did the same thing last cycle. He sold his house and he's put all into Ethereum and a few other large caps, and he was right last cycle. I mean, he was really right last cycle, and so I'm kind of watching. He doesn't mess around in Pulsechain at all. It bothers me a little bit because I reached out to him quite a few times, and every now and again I might get an answer and stuff like that. But Pulsechain is definitely not on his radar, and it's a real shame because he's got 300,000 YouTube subs, and God knows how many on X, but he's doing his thing. And we just got to keep doing what we're doing.
We need more green candles, man.
We do.
Candles come. And we're starting to see it and stuff. And too, man, if you don't mind, maybe I could share my screen here.
Yeah, absolutely can. Yeah.
You share something. Don't see here. Just make sure I want to share the right one. Yeah, okay. This is what I wanted to show here. So speaking of us needing more green candles, a couple things. So, like I mentioned to you, I used to dabble with TA in the past. I learned TA from, you ever heard of Philcone? He's a crypto trader. Kind of
no.
Yeah, OG trader guy, was pretty famous back in the day. Still around today. Anyways, he blocked me. It's funny, just a little side tangent. Not too long ago, because I told him to come trade on Pulsechain on what is it? Not Fiat. What's the Fame? On Fame. He didn't like that too much, but I did learn TA from him, and he's a very interesting guy. And I like to bring up some simple things that can show, give confluence of reasons, and give people confidence. More of a understanding of where the market could be going, other than just randomness. And a few things I like to note here is, first of all, we've had a bullish crossover on the weekly MACD. That's a good sign. It kind of signals bullish momentum in a macro scale. And looking here, man, people can draw lines different ways, right? And lines, these are all magic lines, right? It's like what do they call it? It's like what's the stuff with the stars that girls like, with this like when you're like Leo and stuff. What's that called?
Astrology.
Astrology. Yeah, it's astrology for men, right? TA is astrology for men. People can draw magic lines, right? Whatever. But if the market seems to like accept similar magic lines, then they can't actually become relevant. And so bottom line is you can kind of draw this different ways. People draw lines in resistance and support by wick. People can draw it by closing candle. There's different ways to draw it, but this is, I think, roughly right. And what we're starting to see here is Pulsechain looks like it could be breaking out of a massive, sad to say, but downtrend that we've been in throughout our entire existence, really 2 years. Pulsechain just turned, 2 days ago, something like that, yesterday?
Yesterday, yeah, 13th.
Yeah, so this is a very big deal because we've been forming this price structure for 2 years. 2 years, man. 2 long years. And we are arguably just beginning to break out. This is a giant deal. I wanted to find this before the stream, what I'm about to refer to, but my thing wouldn't load. But this price structure reminds me a lot of Matic Polygon. Are you familiar with Matic Polygon?
Yeah.
Huge last bull cycle. It's like one of the main like layer ones that, for Ethereum, or layer 2, sorry, that really got a lot of traction. It was really one of the big winners in the layer 2 niche last cycle. And its price structure was very, very similar, where it did this massive run up, pump, dump, pump and dump, and just went sideways for a long time in this really kind of extreme pump, dump. And while its price structure was more like of a channel and less of a triangle, it more or less means the same thing. That once it broke out, it just shot off and went parabolic. Like, we're on the verge of forming a new price structure after breaking the previous one that took 2 years. Like, guys, that's extremely significant to break bullishly. Price structure you've been forming for 2 years on such a macro scale is a very, very, very big deal. We're about to form a new price structure. We're breaking out bullishly. Bitcoin seems to be going up. Ethereum seems to be going up. The founder seems to be signaling that he's willing to be, public again. The stars are, and this all seems to coincide exactly with kind of this bullish breakout that we're seeing here. After 2 years of bearish price structure, we're finally now starting to see first signs of actual reversal here on the, shorter time frames. Let's go to a daily so we can see this a little bit better. Actual, honest to God, higher low and a higher high. This is an actual uptrend, guys. The last time, we were in an uptrend was like November, December 24. So, we're seeing some very, very interesting stuff here, man. The stars are aligning. We're seeing good things, and I am very much so looking forward to finally being able to be genuinely bullish on Pulsechain. Because one of my gripes, man, is I've seen. And I get why people do it. I've seen what I interpret as a lot of cynical fake cope, because people want to be bullish on Pulsechain, and they'll search for anything to do so. But in doing that, in you run the risk of running down certain paths that really aren't genuine, and if you don't acknowledge certain hard truths, it doesn't matter if you choose to not acknowledge them, the rest of the market clearly sees them. So I do think it's important to call out problems when they exist, because it doesn't matter how hard we ignore them. Everyone else sees it. And if we pretend, like it's not there. But now that we're seeing the founder, being willing to be public again, it's such great news, man. Because like I was mentioning to you before we started the stream, I was around the previous cycle. I saw Hex, start off back in 2020, 2021, and it's massive run up. I saw what it took to do that. It took a founder streaming 2-3 hours a day, practically every day for almost 2 years straight. All right. He had this massive cult community who was out there daily, arguing with, debating all the top people in the crypto industry, having interviews with all the top people in the crypto industry, talking about the merits of Hex and his ecosystem constantly. And that created a genuine, real sense of, hey, we're going to take over the crypto world. We're going to be in the top 3, top 5 market cap, actually, and we're going to defeat everyone, and we're going to be winners. That was completely absent. That culture, that sense, you could feel it in the air back in the day, is completely absent today, was completely absent, because we didn't really have a founder, talking about, describing a clear direction, really out there, sing Pulsechain's praises, and frankly, we still haven't really seen that, right? Like we've only seen Richard say that, hey, I'm more willing now. He put out a video saying I'm more willing now to come out there and be public. We haven't really seen him do what he was doing back in the day. But what I'm trying to suggest here is that if we really want Pulsechain to beat Sui, Solana, all these other big industry players with massive war chests, we need a founder who's willing to be a public fighter and out there, singing our praises. And now that he's signaled that he's willing to do that more and more, that's fantastic news. Fantastic news. I've been calling him out on that for years. I've been saying, I've been consistent for years, saying that this was extremely important for Richard to come back and be a public founder. And everyone said I was a crybaby or something because I didn't want this to crash and burn. I want to actually be genuinely bullish on Pulsechain, not some fake cynical cope. And part of that is having a founder that doesn't appear to be abandoning his chain and is going to be a public fighter. And now that we're starting to see that massive, bullish improvement on the fundamentals, price structure seems to be following. So I know it was a bit of a rant, but ultimately, we're seeing some good stuff.
That's all right, man. That's all right. You do your thing. It's well deserved, right? Because I saw some of the flack that you were getting, and at the end of the day, you were just being honest, right? You know what I mean? It's very encouraging that Richard has done this one video, but look, at the end of the day, it's just this one video, right? Like you say, if we want to see this thing really move forward, obviously we need more input from Richard, not just the odd, a couple of posts on X. I think with the whole streaming thing, I think that's fantastic. Did you see that the community are now actually starting to really move and sort of rally behind this one video that he's done? Even Rochelle has put up $1 million to anyone who's willing to take on Richard in a debate and win the debate.
Yeah, I actually
concerning Pulsechain. Yeah, that's. Yeah. I mean, $1 million, man. Fair dues to Rack, right? Fair dues to him. Yeah, and the community is starting to kind of rally now. So hopefully it continues, and that we still see this trend.
Man, you know how they say when it rains, it pours. I don't know if there's an equivalent opposite saying, but that is also true. That sure, when it rains, it pours. We've been through 2 years of downtrend, but now we're starting to see the stars align. If we actually get an ETH, 4K, 5K, 6K, 7K, I mean, man, we can. I think that's probably what it's going to take for Richard to be really, really out there. Like, look, man, one thing for me, I can't imagine Richard is overly eager to just, go out there, live stream, and answer lots of difficult questions. Like, there's been, I'm sure you understand, a lot of, let's say, internal, choices made throughout the last few years that are, questionable. I don't imagine Richard is like super eager to come out here and ask, and answer a bunch of difficult questions. What I do imagine is Richard is probably eager to brag. And if ETH is back above, 3,800, 4K, if we're, back above SAC rate, in that case, I could totally see Richard having something to brag about, having good things to say. And hopefully in that case, he is more willing. Because now that we have the SEC issue wrapped up, I mean, what is truly holding him back? Like, technically, there's the Interpol stuff.
The Interpol thing, which many people seem to believe it's going to be going away soon. I mean, I know Nuclear Herbs has been quite active talking about that as well. So, but yeah, I mean, if his lawyers are really that good, I mean, what? It's like a small potential assault case. Like, what is that?
It's a private matter, and we'll say again. I've mentioned this before, but there's zero context behind that case. Like, they're just alleging something. Yeah. Anyone can allege anything. There's no evidence. There's no context. Regardless, it's a private matter. If the CEO of Microsoft jaywalks, the stock doesn't plummet just because like he got a jaywalking ticket, right? Like it's not necessarily directly relevant. Like I understand it's a bad look, it's not great, but it's not chain crippling as the SEC was, right? The SEC stuff was more existential to the actual cryptos themselves. This is just like a personal matter, right? So who knows, man? Maybe it's that, but I don't imagine Richard is gonna want to come back and answer difficult questions like the EHEX stuff. Why did he buy the ETH top? Other things as well that I don't want to say publicly. I don't imagine Richard's going to want to come back and say all these things. I imagine if we're at SAC, above SAC, if ETH is 4 or 5K, if the sacrifice fund is a strategic reserve is in profit, hopefully that's what it takes, man. I don't know, but just the fact that he signaled that he's willing to be more public is a great sign. The market is positively reacting to this stuff, right? People aren't cheating the first opportunity they get. Oh, by the way, isn't that word now like a no-no word? You're not supposed to say that now.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
I've seen people arguing about it in Telegram the last couple of days.
Yeah. Okay, so forgive me if anyone's offended by that, but hopefully we see Richard come back when prices higher, and hopefully that stuff wraps up too. I don't know. We'll see, I guess, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, on his Ethereum trade right now, I'm just looking at it here, right? So he's down 28%. So he's got 28%, but literally he's down $184 million, right? And a week ago that was over 300, right? So
yeah, man. Like I don't know. See, like here's why I have skepticism of him coming back. Is he ever going to want to answer that, man? Like, people speculate as to why he bought ETH at that price. Maybe he FOMO'd. Maybe he had to. Maybe he was forced into. Maybe he got clearance. Maybe there was some body, some charity organization that oversaw that. You put that in someone else's hand, and they just bought it as soon as they could. There's 1,000 reasons, but ultimately, Rich is supposed to be the genius founder, and he had so much opportunity to buy lower. And our SAC, our ETH reserve could be 2 times as big, very easily. But water under the bridge, spilt milk, right? Like, can't change it. It is what it is. But also, too, Ben, I was trying to find this beforehand here, and we still do have a good bit. And if ETH goes to 7K, that's going to be like 1.2, 1.1 mil in the ETH strategic reserve. And I mean, this assumes he doesn't deploy anything kind of beforehand, right? But just ballpark guess here. I mean, these are some of the numbers we could theoretically see. I don't know how much, like, do you buy this? Like, how much credence do you give to this kind of thing? I mean, this one right here is assuming 95% sell pressure.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is that's all based on the fact that nobody sells a single token, right? This is all like best case scenario. Everybody's holding their bags so the price can go up. I think we'll see a lot of people exiting. I still think we're going to see a lot of people exiting really, really early, but I do think it's going to take some massive financial catalyst to really start to see the chart do fucking numbers, do real numbers.
Yeah. Look, I have a difficult time not speaking my mind and saying what I think is true. So, I don't know why I should stop now. This thing is going nowhere without Richard injecting a shit ton of money. Like, the only reason why Hex did what it did last cycle is because Richard injected, I don't know if hundreds of millions, tens of millions, a shit ton of money. And if
what did Godwill bought, what was it, 200 million worth, $200 million?
Maybe. I'm not actually not sure, but the point is it was quite a lot, and it was Richard doing it, right? So Richard's probably gonna wait until we go much higher, and if he does, that's great. It's in one sense too, it kind of sucks that we need that to get started, but on the other hand too, at least we're not XRP where the foundation sells. At least ours
exactly.
So yeah, man, it's good to see. Also, another thing too, man, with this, another thing I find interesting to note just with this calculation here is that this app here, Pampy, assumes that Hex is going to kind of outperform. I assume just because the pools are more liquid. But the one thing this doesn't assume is the sell pressure. And I know who is a dip catcher has been on Twitter a lot, kind of highlighting some of the potential issues with Hex. I don't know how much you want to delve into it, but just to bring it up, I think Hex has a lot of on stakes coming up this year that were like pre-amplifier phase, like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So calculations in calculators like this don't kind of take into account that that sell pressure, right? But it is kind of interesting to know. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out, who ends up outperforming who, Hex, Pulsex, Pulse Inc. In my opinion, I think the easy thing to say here is I think Pulse will likely underperform the rest. As to who will outperform, I'm not sure. Do you have an opinion on that?
Pulsex all the way. Yeah, I think Pulsex. To be honest, I think Pulsex is the shiny diamond amongst all of this, right? I think Hex very very much last cycle, especially the fact now that even if you're creating stakes now, you're not really getting a massive return on it. You know, it's really about the people who managed to stake the last time and then get their copies, I think. But you don't know, right? I mean, just regarding price action itself on Hex, I think Hex will do very well just because there is, there's not a lot of liquidity. So literally small amounts of capital can help really skyrocket the price. Pulse, I don't think we're going to see Pulse do like, what the Ethereum did. Like Ethereum went absolutely fucking bananas, total bananas. I think Pulse is going to be a bit of a more slow burner in that case because we still haven't got. I mean, obviously, we're trying to do it ourselves, and the team are trying to build the stuff, but we still haven't really got a lot of the core infrastructure stuff that we need over here. Like, we really don't. Like, it's 2 years, and this, like I have on Thursday, I have a stream with Hans from the Midgard guys, from the new Block Explorer.
Yeah.
To talk about that. I mean, obviously, we're doing our stuff, right? So we're rebranding the Pulse Spot Casino, and it's called On Chain. And that's actually going to be literally brought out to, I think, between 6 and 10 different blockchains, because we need to try and garner all that attention and bring it all back over here, right? Because this is home. But we still need so much infrastructure stuff, right? There's still, I don't know now what the latest, actually. I haven't heard back from Stu. I wrote Stu from Signum Oracle a couple of days ago, see if we could have a chat and maybe set up a stream. I don't know what's happening with Signum, right? So we don't really have a real functioning Oracle. I mean, I know that the fetch guys are here, but that's just really sort of a price feed Oracle system, but everything concerning RNGs and stuff like that for some of the other protocols, that it doesn't exist. So the infrastructure part is still getting built out. It's really, that's the case. And I don't think Pulse can really do much until that happens. I think we need people to be able to trade freely in and out and utilize all these really good projects and protocols that are out there. Like this city, the Pulsechain that we're talking about all the time. Until we get to there, I don't think Pulse is going to start doing much. So that's why I think Pulse actually is just a winner. I think it's just a winner.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, too, it would be interesting to see, because Rich has been hinting and flirting with the idea of launching an exchange. I mean, in that one video he put out a week ago or something, he mentioned how, what did he say exactly? That if people don't want to play nice, then eventually you just have to compete with them. And he was referring to exchanges.
Yeah.
So it would be interesting if Richard ever pulls something like that. I looked it up. Oh my God. I wish I could remember.
And the wallet.
The wallet too, that to launch an exchange need a few tens of millions. Obviously, this is like massively variable. I think I asked a Grok or ChatGPT or something. So like, I think like a serious go at it would be like a few tens of millions. I mean, if, Richard has very likely access to that, right? So who knows? Maybe he's been working, on something in the back. He seems to keep hinting at it. And if he did something like that, I wonder if he integrated like on-chain settlement, right? This is all speculative.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be nice to have nice things, because all we've had is massive disappointment. And I would hope that Richard and his team have been working on stuff and will hopefully deploy it when the time is right. Hopefully, we'll see. Right?
Yeah, I second that. I mean, he's so that was what he changed. He has spoken quite a bit about the wallet. I think I don't necessarily think it should. I mean, look, at the end of the day, from what we understand, the guy has the money. He doesn't need the sacrifice, right? if to create a wallet, because I don't honestly think. And plus, also, if he was to open a sacrifice for a wallet, you kind of have to do the SEC at the top, right, at the top of the market, when everyone has loads of money, basically. So I think we're still a ways away from that yet, but it will be very interesting to see what sort of features a Richard Heart decentralized wallet would have. I would love it to have like a block blend debit card that comes along with it. A built-in debit card, stick it onto your Google Pay, off you go. I think that'd be fantastic for a wallet to have that sort of feature.
Yeah, and even like built-in like Tornado Cash, right? Like he keeps hinting that he wants to focus on anonymities, so it'll be interesting to see how that gets incorporated into things. But I don't know. It's funny, man, because some people say he. I don't know if I should bring this up. If some people say he almost kind of has to do another SAC, because look, man, okay, we got a great SAC fund here. This is very likely, no expectation. This is very likely to be deployed. Great. What about next cycle? What about the future? Right? Okay, maybe he only deploys half, keeps it next cycle. Maybe he deploys all of it. Waves his magic hand on chain and Pulsechain, and then later on he manages to have a fund for later on down the road, right? There's different things he could do, but it is almost like to keep the ball rolling here, and to frame this in a way that's like gives him the benefit of the doubt. It's like when you're trying to really get a foothold in this industry, you really almost have to create mechanisms to come up with treasuries that can really get your stuff out there and really give yourself traction long term. So there's reasons behind all this stuff, and a lot of these reasons often benefit us. So it's all a game, but I do think at least for myself, it's worthwhile to bring these sorts of things up. You got to understand the game you're playing. I don't. A lot of people are ignorant of certain things, and I just think you should be just not. They should know what this is, what this ecosystem is, and the kinds of moves that happen behind the scenes that pretty much more or less have to happen. I don't know if I'm being too vague there, but I hope you get what I'm saying.
No, of course.
Yeah.
No, of course. Hey, look, everything seems to be going the right direction now, but you can see, right? This is a perfect example of how quickly sentiment can change, right? It was 10 days ago, everyone was down in the dumps, crying, all the usual bickering back and forward. Oh, we're doomed, we're going nowhere, blah 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 blah. And then look, we obviously we beat the SEC, but we knew that anyway, right? We knew that, so that was already sort of priced in, if you like. It was really about Richard coming back and saying, okay, look, I've done this, I'm back again. And I mean, well, that was just for Pulsechain, but how much of that is just based on the general fact that Ethereum and Ethereum is starting to move, right? Ethereum is the sort of the one that we've really been waiting for, I guess, if you think about it that way. And Ethereum is starting to move now, and everything's kind of starting to move. So maybe it is just I don't want to take RH out of the equation, obviously. I don't want to take the the bullishness from everyone on Pulsechain in general, but how much of it is a Pulsechain centric thing, and how much of it is just a wider crypto centric thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both. Like for many people who don't know, like on Pulsechain, there's bots set up, right? There's bots that will automatically, buy when Bitcoin and Ethereum are doing well, and that will automatically sell when Bitcoin and Ethereum are doing, poorly. Like it's always interesting to see, like if you go to lower time frame charts, Bitcoin and Ethereum dump, and then we dump almost very similarly, right? And people ask me, hey, well, why is that? Is it that, all our whales are just staring in front of their computer screen, waiting to hit sell when Ethereum dumps? No, it's bots, right? So, but this is kind of a universal thing. So, we're kind of benefiting from that. It's almost like afterburner, right? If we have internal good news, fundamental good news, our internal niche market sees that, people stop shitting themselves and manage to hold on to their bags for a few seconds. Price goes up, and if Bitcoin and Ethereum are going up, it's like afterburners, right? It's like a jet fuel to the fire kind of thing, right? So, and we really haven't seen, I don't think, SEC funds even start to be deployed. I know Richard sent, what was it, a couple $1 million worth of ETH, 4 million ETH, something like that, to Tornado Cash. I don't know. I haven't been tracking if that's
oh yeah. I think that was around 7. But we have seen on the whale watcher, we've seen that there is someone bridging in 55.55 wrapped ETH sending it across the bridge in the Pulsechain over the last few days. And I think so far there's I don't think there's 7 or 8 trades. So I mean, there's got to be at least 300 or 400 Ethereum so far, and it's still coming.
Yeah, oh, that's great.
So that's awesome. Somebody's doing something.
Somebody's doing something, man, and we're seeing the price action start to move here. What I also find pretty interesting to see here, man, is I don't know. I kind of wanted to pick your brain a little bit. What you thought about this as well is the Richard pump tire coins. I don't know how willing you are to delve down that rabbit hole. You just let me know. But just to
Oh yeah, sure. Let's go.
Yeah, man, they're starting to do very well, and these things are super cheap. So for those of you who don't know, the same wallet that deployed most wanted, right? Like Richard's official meme coin, also launched like a dozen or 2 other meme tickers. Like he launched Ethereum at like 2 XRPs, like Tron. He also launched like PDI USDC. Anyways, his cheapest one, man, like that same wallet, which is it's Richard, like launched this Ethereum clone. Let me see if I can bring it over. 1 second. And it's 158K, man. And there's yeah, dude. Like it could be argued that there's a Richard Hart ticker that's 150K market cap. That's like the cheapest one of those meme coins that was launched by the same wallet that deployed most wanted. Like I think people are sleeping on this niche, man. Like these tickers are so small. Richard could send these things to the moon if he wanted to.
Yeah,
if he wanted to, right? He could just let them die. He could have just made these so that people, to kill the PDI narrative, so people won't say, rush into some USDC, whatever, right? But here, let me see if I can change my screen share just to show you guys what I'm talking about. I think that might be helpful here. Let me see here. Yeah, this one. All right. So let me bring this up here. So it's a little small to see, but I'll just talk about it here, guys. So this is, I think, it's not all, but it is the majority of the pump tires meme coins that were launched by the same wallet that launched most wanted, which it's Richard Hart. That's Richard Hart's meme coin, right? So I have it here filtered by market cap here, and so there's some super cheap ones like the Pulse X meme coin, 148K. Again, this is very likely a Richard Hart meme coin. Tron, over 100,000 market cap, 2 XRPs, hilarious. 83K. I think he messed up like the description on one of them. I don't know what happened here, man. But I think the cheapest one is this one. Like we have a Richard Hart meme coin that's argued like 160K market cap, man. Oh, dude, I'm in between jobs right now. I should be starting one soon, but I now that Richard has signaled that he wants
you getting FOMO?
I'm FOMO, man. I'm FOMO. Hey, we can actually like make it now. Like I want more genuinely bullish on this stuff, and dude, this stuff's super cheap. Like I know the EV deployer holds a little bit of Doge as well. Man, I'm bullish on that. If Bitcoin, Ethereum do well, Pepe on ETH, Doge on ETH would probably do well, right? So this is kind of cool to see, man. I think this is kind of a very undervalued niche that people are really sleeping on. Like we have several arguably RH like tickers, meme coins that are like low 100K market cap. It's kind of crazy to see. Have you given much thought to this niche at all, or?
No, not really. I haven't really looked. I mean, obviously, when pump tires first came around, I was messing around with it and having a look at it and see what everyone was doing. I do think it is. I think it's fantastic for the chain, right? Say what you want about memes and all the rest of it, but we need the fun stuff, and memes are fun stuff, right? We need all that. I have heard people talk about all these tokens that Richard Hart sort of deployed. If the Richard or whoever set up pump tires.
Look, so
but I haven't actually looked at them. But what I think is like what. I don't know. My personal feeling on this is that if it is RH or if it is whoever set up Pump.tires, I think they were just like, okay, let's just create a bunch of stuff and just see what happens. I don't think there's really any planning behind it. I mean, why just take on basically of the biggest tokens that are out there and just create another copy as well as another copy because we already have the copy,
Yeah. The one thing I would say about that is I think it is helpful to keep in mind the context of when this launched. So the PDI stuff was in the debate around that was a lot.
Yeah, that's right, Jack.
Back in the day. So, this is when Richard, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, was saying, PDIs, stay away from it. And we were all as a chain having to deal with that. So I think it did make a lot of sense that, Richard would launch his own meme coins that he could say, hey, not some P copy. That's not mine. I launched mine here on Pump Tires. It's the PDI. It's the USD comment on the stream saying RH would never deploy 20 shitters when all his main tokens are down. Look, man, the same wallet that deployed most wanted, which it's Richard's meme coin.
Yeah.
Deployed these as well. It's unarguable. So I mean, you could say, hey, it's not Richard, someone else, some team, whatever it is. Richard might have just made these to grab attention. Grab attention from some of the people on other chains. Try and jump on the Solana narrative, Pump Tires, that kind of thing. He might have just made these as a experiment, and he's willing to let them die. So these are like ultra, far end of the risk curve. Like Richard might very well let these die, but if he doesn't, these like
have you seen
low caps?
Have you seen the comments here? Right, so we've got Hexado in the comments here, and he said RH would never deploy 20 shitters when all his main tokens are down. He said even the logo is a super low effort poop. No way, it's RH. And he said it's because RH did not deploy any of them. It was Victor from GoPulse.
Unless Victor from GoPulse is behind most wanted, it's not debate. You could look into this. Like, it's just a statement of fact that the same wallet that made most wanted made these as well. So you make of that what you will. These are ultra high risk. Richard might just let these die. It was just a one-off experiment. He just wanted to do something so that he could say, oh, I'm not behind PDI. I have my own PDI here, right? Whatever, right? Mm-hmm. These I have played around with these, and they're so low market. And I'm not saying it's not financial advice, obviously, but like you don't throw like everything you have at some like ultra speculative thing, right? There's cores for a reason. Cores, bulk of people's portfolio, right? But if you have whatever, I'm not even attempting to give financial advice here. I do not give financial advice, but I am just pointing out that there are there's a strong case here to be made that hey, these are like a Richard Hart meme coins and they're worth nothing, man. And if we see, the cores, Pulsechain, 10x, whatever from here, and people actually have money on chain, it doesn't really take anything to move these things. So
yeah,
I know.
Oh no, I'll definitely agree with you on that one. Right, when people have a bit of disposable income, bit of cash on hip, we see it. We see it. That's when I remember even last cycle, people were launching tax tokens with like 40% fucking buy tax just to try and get in, and those things were going 20, 30 million market cap. Right, they were actually going absolutely crazy. When people have basically more money than sense, then anything can go up. But I do think, in that case, you're right. If we look at it for sort of that long-term vision, then anything that it would be associated with Richard will probably start pumping.
Yeah, guys, like here's the thing. Things were very, like, if you look at some of the bridge activity, it was it left a lot wanting. We are broke on Pulsechain. We have all been buying permaline down for years. We're all broke, but that might change. Might even likely change for the better. Hopefully, rather soon. We'll see, right?
Definitely sooner rather than later.
Yeah, we've all just existed in an environment of down only. We haven't seen what up can look like, right? So, Richard, guys, we have that massive. Richard has that massive war chest of. If ETH goes to what 6-7K, that's like over $1 billion.
Yeah.
If he deploys half of that, man, oh my god. people are actually going to have money on chain, and I don't think I'm going to be the only one to remember that. Hey, these things exist. I don't know. It's highly speculative. I just wanted to kind of bring it up because it'll just be interesting to see how it plays out. One could probably say that, hey, it's most likely that these will die off, but in the case, say, a couple months down the road, the chain's not broke. Hey, who knows? We'll see. We'll see, right?
Yeah, I think if it ever comes out that this has anything to do with Richard at all, then for sure those things are all pumping. Right? Absolutely, like it's 100%. Have you seen KvltDeFi has launched his own meme coin, Top Hat?
What it was, Top Hat. Yeah,
Top Hat.
It's like a play on the most wanted. Again, guys, like, so if I'm remembering correctly, how most wanted played out, it was that the wallet that made it had either created the token or bought it before Richard had ever first tweeted about pump tires. So it basically kind of had to be an insider. If I'm remembering correctly, this is a little while ago, so I might be forgetting some of the details here, but there's a lot to suggest. It's very likely Richard's meme coin, right? And it's kind of cool to see KvltDeFi making his own. I think he did make a liquidity pool with Most Wanted as well. I bet KvltDeFi is pretty big, probably a whale in Most as well. Very cool to see. Also, another thing, I don't know if you heard about this, but I think the speculation is that 80%, roughly 80% of the supply is owned by Richard. I've even heard some people speculate that it's closer to 90. I think if you ask,
I heard that,
whatever, right? So it's not really like a $60 million market cap. It's more like I don't know, 10, 15, 20.
Exactly. Supply's gone. Well, supply is basically locked up.
Yeah. So we have like an arguably $10 to $20 million like RH figure. That's nuts.
Those are good numbers. Those are numbers I like.
Yeah.
And obviously Most, right? I mean, Most is everybody's talking about Most. Still, everyone's talking about Most. Nobody really talks about Pump. I think there was another one that was by Gamma, one of the devs, and it was, what was it called? Best.
Oh, I'm not sure.
You remember that one?
Best. There's too many meme coins now. I gotta say, I don't remember that one now.
No, but I think it was launched because it was actually launched by one of the Pulsechain devs. I think it was Gamma.
Oh, really?
And it was the day. I think it was literally the day after Most.
Yeah.
Those three green candles at the start of Most, I think Best come out around that time.
See, I'm blocked, so I can't follow the Pulsechain devs. So maybe I missed out on that one. Yeah, it's also kind of interesting to see the dynamic playing out with pump tires. A lot of people are using it to relaunch things, like after the whole PDI situation happened, right, where people had a lot of burn liquidity with PDI. Rest in peace. There was a lot of collateral damage, right? And we saw like the relaunch of like Teddy and stuff. That's going to be very interesting to see who wins out. The Atropa teddy bear over here with Maria, the dubious dev, and Teddy over here, which I think is the B Roots public CTO. I think this is the first CTO B Roots said he was in favor of. So it'll be interesting to see, man. Like we're seeing green candles again, which is nice, and hopefully we see.
Well, that's it. It's just about money starting to flow through.
Yeah.
Instead of just going around in this circle that it's been going into. Yeah. And everyone's been trying to. Everyone's been trying to. I mean, I'm guilty of this myself, right? Try to. There's money to be made on Pulsechain, right? If you look in the right places, especially if you know what you're doing, and people have just been trying to build. I think they've been trying to build up their core coin bags, right? But the thing is, so they make money elsewhere, and then they'll start buying the core coins, and they're just continue to be going down because as soon as there's any positive market influence, people just start to sell it, right? I think there's still a lot of people that have huge bags on Pulsechain, and they just want to try and recoup some of their money. It's 2 years now,
Yeah, no,
we're going to see a lot of it.
Yeah, I think one of the most recent examples that kind of speaks to what you're saying is the whole situation with kind of GoPulse, right, where they launched their own coin, and it's because from what I've heard, their operating expenses are very, very high, and I wouldn't be surprised if they had assumed that we wouldn't be down this much and this long, when things started, right? Like and also like, you know, like I'm sure you've seen, you've said you've noticed. I have been rather maybe controversial is a way of saying it, and bitter. I am bitter. I'm so bitter. I'm flashing white. I don't know if you see that. If that's just me.
Oh, I do. I see it. Yeah.
Yeah. I literally don't know why that's happening. There is no light in my room flashing. Whatever.
Oh, there you go.
It's gone. But it's true, man. I am bitter. I went very hard into the sacks, and I understand because I understand that the longer and the further down we go, and the longer we stay down, the less high we will go after. You know, so that just means sackers were kind of they're screwed. We didn't get a good deal, right, Mister? I never gave out a bad deal. Gave a really, really bad deal where we underperformed scams. But you know, we're gonna do better. And by the way, I did want to bring this up as well, just so people know. Hey, you know, I'm not. I do share good stuff. I did want to share this as well. Just brag from. I hope you don't mind. Here, I'll bring it up. It's just loading. But what I want to say is that I called the Pulsechain bottom. I called the bottom on the day, live on Twitter X. Go follow me at BrandonBBme, because I called the goddamn bottom, man. I'm telling you, this magic line bullshit actually works. I called the bottom. I don't know if almost exactly on the day here. Like, this was just over, you know, not, you know, 4 zeros, 2 0. So that was, if we take a look at the price here, man, that was literally like right about here that I called the bottom. So, hey, man, we were the most oversold we'd ever been on the RSI. What was it here? Bullish crossover on the 3-day, and the weekly stochastic RSI. You know, PDI stuff was winding down. I think that's when they managed to kill the inflation on it. You know, we were the most oversold on the 3-day RSI we've ever been. So I called the bottom. Called the bottom on the day, roughly on the week.
Well done. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
That's actually a pretty good call. That's a pretty good call.
Yeah, it's pinned and everything. Yeah, man. So it's been a crazy market, but hopefully now that we're, you know, breaking out here, we're forming a new price structure. This is actually really, really good to see, man. Really
that is a massive descending triangle. Look at that.
Yeah. I actually am planning on buying more very soon. I wish I could have done it sooner, but circumstances. Anyways, I fell into some money, and I will be buying into RH core tickers very soon. Very soon. So I am bullish. I'm optimistic. Now that we've actually had a positive change in the fundamentals, I'm much more optimistic.
Good. I'm happy to hear. That. Well, hopefully, some of the community on X, I'll start to see some people that maybe give you, I don't want to say a pat on the back, but they start to say, well, yeah, okay, you were right. I mean, like I was, even what I think the last stream that we were on together, I'm not saying that Richard Hart had nothing to do with it. I you know, that's stupid naive to think that, but I starting to get to the situation. I was thinking, right, how can we pump without RH? I mean, yes, we can, but just seeing after he put this video up, just seeing what's, you know, the sentiment around the community, not even so much on the charts, right? Because the charts, you know, because everything is kind of up. Ethereum's up and it's kind of dragging us up as well. But yeah, just seeing the attitude of people as soon as Richard put that video out. As soon as he did that, everyone was all of a sudden best friends again.
Yeah.
You know? And yeah, it's tiring. It go forever down was absolutely tiring. Hopefully this trend continues, right? You know, I'm absolutely, I don't, you know, obviously the 10,000 X's and all the rest would be lovely, but I just want to see nice stable uptrend, a nice stable uptrend for a while until we start to see something happen with Ethereum, because I think when Ethereum really starts to pump, then I think it's literally off to the races, So now, like always, I say that this is not financial advice. I'm just a guy here on the internet, but this is still accumulation time. Just keep on keeping on, keep on buying if you can. Keep on buying, right? And look at some of the protocols that are out there on Pulsechain, that are being built on Pulsechain. Keep doing all that stuff, right? Don't have your blinkers on now just because you see a few green candles. We're very much in the situation where we still need to build everything for when the real money starts coming over here. Right? We still need to do all of that stuff. That hasn't changed in the past week.
No, definitely not. Right? Build it and they will come. And now that Bitcoin, it's gonna be very interesting if we break above new all-time highs. But if we keep seeing this run up with Bitcoin and ETH, we're seeing the reversal on the Bitcoin ETH ratio. I'm not going to pull it up now just because I don't want to show you guys more ads. But we're starting to see, Bitcoin ETH starting to do better. The altcoins starting to do a bit better. We are getting around that time. Like I remember saying even back in 2021, 2022, that I thought it would be this time, like this year. I thought it would be like summer, quarter 3, quarter 4, 2025. That things would, I think, really start to heat up, and we're
I think that's everyone was kind of aiming for that, right? Everyone was saying, summer 2025 is when we start to see real numbers, and people are going to start just selling out into stables and all the rest of it. I think we're having a bit of a delay. I think a lot of it has to do obviously with literally the whole world, the way the whole world is going at the moment, right? But I think we're starting to see some of that start to calm down, and for God's sake, just let things. Anyone out there that's watching this, right? Don't be selling in all these green candles, right? Just sit on your hands for a while. Sit in your hands for a while. Do something where you have no access to be able to push the sell button. Do whatever you have to do, because these are the times when people start making a hell of a lot of money. It's not about a quick cash grab as soon as you see a green candle. I know it's scary, and I know it can be like that, but you're never going to see the 10,000x if you keep pushing the sell button.
Yeah, and I'm definitely not going to get that a tattoo on my face if that doesn't happen, because I said that if Pulsex is a 100x over SAC, I'll get a tattoo
on your face.
Well, face. What is face really? Like, is face neck? Your face kind of connects to the rest of your body, so it's kind of like a ill-defined notion, I would argue, right? So it's kind of debatable what face means. But I think if I think it was like Sophie or something was like tweeting about that, how people were like getting those hex tattoos. I saw Buddy the other day with the hex tattoo on his neck. I'm like, Jesus, bro. Like, it's one that I think, who is it, David Feeder, that has like tattoo on his chest.
Yeah, he's got a chest tattoo.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's some commitment there.
Well, I think David Feeder, I think he did. I think Hex has done very well for him, right? So
I'm sure.
I mean, I imagine that he's still massively up.
Yeah.
But yeah, hey, listen. As soon as we start to see all the tattoos coming out and all the rest of it, then maybe it's a good time to start selling.
Yeah, maybe if you see me with the Pulsex face tattoo, that's when you know. Maybe a little teardrop, like the X under the cheek here. Oh man.
No, cool. Hey, thanks very much for jumping on with me. We're approaching the hour.
Yeah.
Any parting words for the audience?
I would say you owe it to yourself to come to your own conclusions as to what really matters in the market. People often say things that may or may not be true, and I think everyone should be on guard for being fooled. It's important to come to your own understanding as to what really drives the market and make decisions based off that. Fundamentals do matter. Reality matters, both on the downside and on the upside. Hang in there. I'm optimistic. I think now that Richard's back, it's an incredibly positive development. So I'm hopeful for the future. Hopefully this crazy roller coaster all works out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I agree with that. I think this roller coaster is just getting started. All this time, I haven't changed. Yes, it's lovely to see green candles. Yes, it's lovely to start seeing, you know, the value of the bags are growing and all the rest of it. But we still have a long way to go. We still have a long way to go. It would be great if Richard continues to be active with the community. You know, we start to see maybe a live stream at some stage. The community are doing the right things. Like there's RS Max. I think he did the Pulsechain conference, and I think for the next couple of months, I think it's July. I think he's going to be doing a Pulse X conference.
Oh,
right?
nice.
So, yeah. So the community are doing their bit. Everyone's starting to pull their finger out. Look, Rackham's got $1 million bet on the line with people. I'm very happy that the community are starting to that they're starting to just kind of get along a little bit better, I guess. But those that are still building out there, keep on building, right? Those that are trying to do, you know, we still need all the stuff here. I've said it on nearly every stream I've been on now for the last couple of weeks. If you have an idea for a protocol and you know, and you think it has merit, you think it has worth, speak to someone about trying to build it, right? We need all the stuff here on Pulsechain. We need the good stuff, the bad stuff, the ugly stuff. We need it all. The community will tell you very quickly if it's a good idea or a bad idea. Very, very quickly. Might even hurt your feelings. But no risk, no reward, right? You know, who dares wins and all the rest of that stuff. So with that being said, if you are here and you haven't subscribed to Brandon, please go and do so. It's the Brandon B Show on YouTube. And it is Brandon BB Me over on X. If you're one of Brandon's community and you're over here, hey, throw me an old subscribe as well. Why not? Tomorrow I am on with the Mo. The Mo is a Pulsechain community member, Hexagon, delves a lot in the TitanX ecosystem. Very, very, very in with everything that's happening with TitanX. He has his own stuff too. We will be discussing that tomorrow. And then later on in the week, I will be on with the Midgard Block Explorer guys. And there are a few other ones in the works, right? It's a busy, busy time. I like being busy because busy usually means things are moving in the right direction. Okay. So with that being said, I mean, that's kind of all I got to say. Like, subscribe, notification bell, all that good stuff. Make sure you engage with us over on X and we'll all have a bit of crack. Good luck.